This is actually insane. Why isn't Marvel Rivals dying off? Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa. So, it's been almost 1 month to the day since Rivals launched globally. And the game is actually increasing in average concurrent players, at least on the platform we can see the statistics of, and that of course is Steam. So take a look at this and remember what I always say about Steam DB. It isn't the be all and end all. These figures on here, yeah, they look impressive, whatever. It is not indicative of a game overly performing well or a game overly performing bad. It just means the game's performance on Steam, and we can look at the concurrent player base of said game. Now, what this means is we can see the Steam player base. Now, it doesn't extrapolate out to the consoles, which is a lot more difficult to see the actual player base numbers of. In fact, it's pretty much impossible. You can see lists which will put Rivals in the top of the lists on Xbox and on PlayStation for like the most popular games being played. But again, numbers are a little bit sort of iffy. There are places you can go to try and find them. But SteamDB gives accurate data because it pulls it from Steam's API. So we can see straight up who is playing this game. And this graph, what is really interesting with this graph, it is the holy grail for game developers, especially of a live service game, because you expect to launch your game and the graph to drop down. Now, I could very easily take a cheap shot at Overwatch here and go, here's the Overwatch graph. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but you guys know what that graph looks like. And if you don't, it basically, yeah, it drops off. So the game launched and then dropped off. There's updates throughout time, things like new heroes and stuff like that. It creates a little bit of a bump. Nothing ever really gets back to the size of the launch numbers. And yeah, it sort of goes away. The difference with Rivals, though, and why this is the holy grail of game developers, especially for live service games, is the number was kind of going down and then it started to go up. And that is a very rare phenomenon. That basically means the game has got insane longevity. So this got me thinking, why? Why is this game so good? Now, this is an insane question to ask because it is the game I've been playing the most of over the Christmas period, easily. And I've been trying to play Path of Exile too, and I'm massively addicted to that, but I just keep coming back to Rivals. It is so much fun. I think we need to take a look at this and work out what's going on because this game is actually, it's just insane. It's actually insane. Let's do this. So the art direction and the gameplay and the IP, it is all top tier, and the presentation, it is all top tier. Yes, there are questions over the game's performance. There are times when performance is quite bad in the game, but the heroes themselves, the designs of the heroes, the way their kits function, it's great. And some heroes are completely revolutionary in the hero shooter genre. I mean, I look at a hero like Strange, and I think that is very similar to what you got with Tracer when Overwatch launched. A hero that could, go back in time? Could flash around the map? This is crazy, right? What a hero. What an insane design. Well, Rivals has kind of brought that into 2025, or well, I guess 2024 into 2025. And they go, yeah, you can just have a portal in the game, and you can just, it functions like a portal, and all the physics function through it as well. And yeah, it's just actually insane. It feels like innovation, and it feels really polished. And so when I look at things like the IP and go, okay, yeah, Marvel Rivals, it uses the Marvel IP. It's literally the biggest, or one of the biggest IPs in the world. It's up there with the likes of Pokemon, Star Wars, etc., etc. It is a massive IP. Everyone knows who the heroes are, especially the mainline heroes. Now, I came into this game fully saying, you know what? I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. Yeah, I've watched some of the movies. I mean, this might come across as complete blasphemy, but I've not seen all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I mean, maybe not a lot of people have because there's quite a lot of them. But I don't really go out of my way to watch them. I wasn't really that interested. I've seen the odd Avengers movie here and there. Yeah, it's fine, right? Like I said, I watched a couple of the series on Disney Plus and whatnot, and yeah, they're okay, right? I think I watched the Moon Knight series. It was pretty good. But yeah, I'm not like a die-hard Marvel fan. So the IP itself didn't technically appeal to me in a crazy way. But actually, it's so good. Like, it is so good because they've got such a varied, like, foundation to build on, because obviously, you know, Marvel, how many years old is Marvel? You know, how many heroes is there? It's like, it must be insane for the developers to just have this playbook which they can go and take a look at and go, well, we need a hero. Oh, look, we can add this hero. Oh, we can do this or we can do that. It's so good. It is just incredibly good. But I think with the Overwatch comparison, when you look at things like presentation, they're basically right up there with Overwatch. Yeah, the UI and the menu system and stuff, it's very similar to Overwatch, but it's done really well. It's very polished. Things like the hero gallery, it's really, really good. I mean, I really like that sort of parallax effect you get when you hover over heroes for selection. That's just great. You know, you look at something like Overwatch 2, it's just a square box that gets a little bit bigger when you hover over it. So you're seeing a level of like increased polish, a level of like, wow, this is really slick, this is really smooth. The sound design in the game is something I don't think a lot of people touch on. It's great. Like the music before you go into a mission, it's straight up vibes from Overwatch. Awesome music. You're getting hyped up. You're ready to go. I mean, I don't want to turn the in-game music off. I want to leave it on. It sounds great. I love it. Literally every map has got an insane soundtrack. It's just incredible. But yeah, then you're throwing things like the art direction. It just looks like a comic book come to life. It's third person, and this again is something where, you know, I think I was a little bit skeptical of this to begin with because, hey, I come from an FPS world. Actually, it being third person means you get to fully appreciate the skin. And dare I say it, I am actually really enjoying the skins in this game to the point of I can see myself buying them. I found that very hard in Overwatch, which sounds insane to say because how many Overwatch videos have I produced? You know, you would think I'd be buying all of the skins. Obviously, you guys know I had major issues with the monetization of that game and all of that stuff. The whole way it went from, well, the whole way it launched its free-to-play. Whereas with Rivals, yeah, I know it's still expensive, but at least the game has launched with, you know, this is the way it's going to operate. So you are prepared. You can see what's going on. And they do actually give you some skins for events and stuff like that with the Jeff skin recently. And again, Overwatch is similar to that, so it's not totally unique. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like this is going to sound actually insane to say this out loud, but I feel like you get more value from the skin in Rivals just because you can see it. Now, in Overwatch, yeah, sometimes you can see the skin if you're using certain abilities like a Reinhardt charge, but you basically just see the weapon, right? So just the weapon skin. I don't know, but I just feel in Rivals, yeah. But it's not even just that, right? It's things like the MVP animations. The way they're done is so awesome. They look really good. They've got their own like custom backgrounds and all kinds of stuff going on. It's just an evolution on the hero shooter format, and it's really well made. And I think that makes people keep coming back because it feels, I mean, can I say this in 2025? It actually feels like a finished game when it launched, which is insane to say because every game should be finished, but it really does. It feels very, very well made. The frequent updates and the content releases, as far as we can see, are actually, they're just insane. These devs have cooked beyond cooking. It's just crazy, this is. Now, I'm pretty sure they've been, they're working on a lot of heroes, and they've got pre-launch heroes complete, ready to go, or very close to being complete. So they've launched the game, and we know we're going to get the Fantastic Four. Now, we don't know if we're going to get all 4 of them immediately when Season 1 begins, but you could probably bet on getting at least 2 of them. Maybe you even get 3 of them. 4 of them might be insane. Maybe we just get 1 and then another one comes out a few weeks later. I don't know. But they've already committed to saying they're being added to the game. That's insane. Like, can you imagine a game launching that number of heroes in a season? Now, the thing with Rivals is the season duration is about 3 months long, I believe. The devs said that in their dev update video they put out, kind of saying, hey, we're going to bring new maps, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And yeah, seasons are going to be about 3 months long, which is a pretty long season. So if you only get 4 heroes in the season, I mean, this sounds crazy to say again. Yeah, maybe that's not that much. It actually is, guys. It's actually insane. But, like, they can't keep adding heroes at that rate. Surely, can they? I don't know. But what they're definitely doing with this is they're getting... Well, this sounds a little bit... It sounds like I'm being a bit of a dickhead. I'm going to be honest, a bit big-headed. But it gets me to talk about it. And I don't mean sit down and make videos. I mean, I am actually talking about it. So then I think, yeah, surely other people must be talking about it. And I know they are. My friends are talking about this game. They're talking about the new heroes coming. They send me things like, oh my God, have you seen this leak for this hero? And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, spoiler, Blade looks insane. Blade is incredible. I love Blade. Blade's awesome. But I'm like, what? Like, this list crazy. Like, Ultron. I'm not going to list them all because I don't want to spoil stuff. But there's just loads of them. It's like, wow, this is crazy. But the fact that they've already delivered on this content so far seems insane. So we launched with Season 0, which is a small season relative to the content in it. The Battle Pass for this season is $5 because it contains, I suppose, theoretically, half of the content that's going to be in an actual Battle Pass. When Season 1 comes out, this is the start of the game. This is them saying, this is our content, we're going to show you what we're going to do, and then we're going to keep up with our output, because surely that's the plan. And I just cannot think, if you're a dev from another company looking at this, going, how can they possibly have this number of heroes ready to go, this amount of content? I presume we're going to get tons of balance changes. Obviously, I haven't even spoke about stuff like the skins and that have been added to the game. There's loads of stuff being added to the game constantly. It feels fresh and it feels alive. And I think this is one of the issues with live service games. You've got to keep And then this is kind of cheesy PR speak, but you've got to keep constantly delighting the players, which keeps them engaged, which keeps them coming back. You can't let them stagnate. And these guys haven't done that yet, but they have launched with a shit ton of content. The number of heroes in the game at launch is crazy. The only thing that's letting it down is the number of maps and game modes. But they're going to build upon that in the future and go ahead. But even that hasn't really mattered, right? Because we've still been playing this game like crazy, pumping hours and hours into it. It's insane. The timing of the launch. Now, this is, I think, a really clever one and a really big one. So firstly, NetEase, they publish Blizzard games in China. The relaunch of Overwatch 2 is going to come in February in China. NetEase are the distributor for that. So NetEase have got control over where their main rival comes out, effectively, in China. So maybe that's why they're delayed. But even so, does that really matter? Because if you look at it's not just Overwatch players here. It's all of the players from all of the other live service style games you've got out there. I mean, you've got like Fortnite players, right? Maybe they're getting disgruntled with the game. You've got Call of Duty players. Maybe they're getting disgruntled with the game. You know, they fell out of love with Warzone, whatever. Obviously, you've got Overwatch players. You've got, you know, potentially League of Legends players. You could just list all these live service games off where maybe they're like sort of struggling a little bit for player base and players are looking for something to do, maybe looking for something to grind out. And Rivals has just gone, oh, by the way, here you go. Come and play this. And I do think as well, there's a lot more crossover with games like Fortnite just because it's third person. As like stupid as this sounds, I think players just like third person. I mean, if you're playing Fortnite, you're going to be more, I suppose, predisposed to go and play a third person game, especially a third person shooter, over an FPS game, which does feel quite a bit different. Like FPS feels totally different to third person shooters. So maybe that's something to be aware of. But I do think actually the launch window of the game was almost, whether it was by design or by a fluke, I mean, obviously it's not by a fluke, it is by design to some degree. It has really worked super well for the game. So talking to the game itself, it is very accessible. And all I mean by this is it's not that hard to play. Now, at first, I was like some elitist prick. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to use the bad language because it needs to be used. And I was like, this game doesn't... I mean, it's fun. Everyone's got like crazy abilities. Everyone's moving all over the place. Everyone's having a moment in the sunshine. Oh, I've got MVP. I've done this. I've done that. Wow, it feels awesome. But actually, is it that tactical? Is it that hard to play? Can you play this to a higher level easier than you can other games? And well, to be honest, I think the answer to this is a bit complicated. So firstly, the game's new. All I mean by that is we're still working out what the meta is and who are the strongest heroes. Yeah, we already see, you can see who are the stronger heroes. Obviously, I like playing a lot of Mantis, really good support. Luna Snow, really good support. Strange, seen as one of the best tanks. Hulk is really strong. Then you've got things like the team-ups where you go, okay, Hulk and Iron Man really strong together, blah, blah, blah. So you do sort of see a bit of a meta developing in that kind of way. But all I mean by this point is it isn't set in stone. It is still flexible, and players still aren't really sure how to actually laser in and focus on the heroes. Whereas if you look at any other game out there, there's always an accepted meta because a lot of the other games have been out for a very long time, whereas this is actually quite brand new. So it does make it more accessible in a way. Things like competitive as well. Now, the competitive system in the game, it is fine. I mean, I'm enjoying playing it. I don't feel like I'm particularly having terrible games. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of trolls in the games. Now, I know there will be trolls in online games, right? You're going to get them. You're going to get people messing about and all of that stuff. It's just whatever. It's part of the game, you know. This is the way these games are. You're never going to get rid of them. But there are little things it does well, like when you report a player, the fact that it actually sends you an in-game mail saying the action has been taken against the player, names the player and tells you the action. I've got 4 people that I've reported that have had action against them. Obviously, it's not just me reporting them. They're getting a volume of reports, but when action is taken, and you think, cool, you feel like a valued member of that community. And I think that's just more, well, that is accessible, right? Because you feel like, wow, I've actually done something here. Again, take a game like Overwatch. There's no way they tell you they ever took action against anyone. Well, they do tell you, right? So that's not correct. They don't tell you the type of action. They just say, hey, thanks for keeping Overwatch a safe place. They don't tell you the name of the player. Of course, you could work it out. If you've only reported one person and then they have action taken against them, well, it's obviously that person, right? You don't know what the action is. Were they muted? Were they banned? Were they restricted from matchmaking? Who knows, right? But yeah, the gameplay itself, I just think it's very fun. It's very fast. It's very flashy in a good way. I think you have that, you get those moments of adrenaline, you get those rush moments, you get those moments of, wow, I can't believe that just happened. You get that and Overwatch was good for this, but that like expertly designed last-minute fight, last-second fight. You know, it's 99% on the capture point, and it's one fight, and one clutch ultimate comes in, and maybe that's your ultimate, and you win. You like absolutely remember those gaming moments, and they're almost golden. And this game delivers on that over and over and over again. Again, much like Overwatch does, but this is like delivering on it in a fresh take. It's just so good. Developer communication. Now, this is one Overwatch have sort of been okay at sometimes, and sometimes not great, and sometimes good at. At the moment, Rivals look like they're doing okay. When a problem pops up and you can see community talking about it, whether that's on internet forums, whether that's on social media, on Reddit, you know, you name it, on YouTube, in YouTube video comments, on TikTok, whatever, they react to it quite fast, and they react to it in a very good way. So one example of this is mouse acceleration on PC. Now, you can actually disable mouse acceleration in the editing one of the ini files. They don't recommend you do that, and they actually said don't do that just in case it causes some issues with the game. But they're going to add this as an option in the game. They've spoke about this publicly, and it is coming to the game. It is good to see that. It is awesome to see that speed of changing things up. More recently, there was a false ban wave going through, I think on Mac and other operating systems, which they have already addressed and said, no, we're going to fix this. We're going to sort it out. Don't worry. We'll make that happen. This is like really good developer communication out of the gate. Like, they have started with the launch of the game. They've got dev update videos, which are okay. You know, it's always nice to put a face to the developers and see them speak. Some of the developers are active on social media platforms as well, which is good to see. But they just seem to be reacting really quick. Primarily for me through Discord. I see comments in the Discord server where it'll be like a news update or a game update, and they're saying, hey, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And it's just really good to see. I think that is awesome. And this kind of ties into, I suppose, building a positive community around the game. Now, yeah, it's easy to sit here and go, oh, well, this game's great, I'm loving it, it's awesome at the moment, everything feels fresh, everything feels new. But what will that feel like in a couple of months down the line? I think if you look at the extreme end of that, you get Overwatch players who have played the game for a long time, and maybe they were playing the game because they didn't have any sort of other similar options in the hero shooter genre, and so they kept defaulting back to Overwatch. But they become sort of disillusioned with the game, disillusioned, I should say, with the game. And it kind of spreads into like a form of negativity to their comms in the game, their comms out of the game. And that's not a great place to be in. Rivals, though, isn't suffering from this at the moment because everyone's kind of like, wow, we're playing Rivals. But I worry like how long that'll last. So maybe that's a bit of a negative or something there. But I think at the moment it feels like a really positive community. And then I guess going on from that, you've got the beginnings of an esports scene being built around the game. Now, in terms of the competitive nature of the game, I think if you were to compare that directly at Overwatch, I think you would be a bit crazy to argue that this is more competitive than Overwatch. Overwatch has got some really high-skill heroes. Obviously, Rivals has as well, but Overwatch is a lot more developed. There's a lot of, years and years of practice has gone into that game by various pros, and it's just played at such an ultra-high level that Rivals, it's going to be difficult for it to get to that level. But I think this is where things get really interesting, right? Because it comes down to this. I think Rivals, because it focuses more on... And I don't mean this in a negative way, because I play loads of Rivals, like way more Rivals now than I play Overwatch. But I think it focuses on the casual audience more than the more hardcore competitive audience. But I think it still delivers an adequate competitive experience to the casual players that do want to play comp. Whereas Overwatch can feel a bit daunting when you go into comp as compared to the casual quick play modes. And that might actually be a blessing in disguise for Rivals because it is more accessible. It is more, hey, you can get into the game and then maybe you can push through competitive. And then, like even right now, they've even got the in-game tournament system where you can then start forming teams once you get to a certain rank, I believe. But even beyond that, we've seen the Invitational, and we're going to see more of these Rivals competitions. Yeah, they are funded and backed by netties and by the game developers themselves, but it feels at the moment like a very sort of grassroots experience with esports, and that's like the holy grail of esports, because you want to build a scene organically, because what happens through that is it becomes very resilient. If the game is great and the community is great and the esports scene, it will grow. It will naturally grow. Again, not to rag on Overwatch, but Overwatch was doing that before it came out with the whole Overwatch League thing, but it was building a grassroots esports ecosystem which can then grow. And you guys might be thinking, Sty, why do you even care about esports? Well, I really like watching esports. I mean, one of the things I like is watching high-level players. And I suppose, actually, if you guys have seen some of the videos I've put out on the channel recently, you'll see I'm spectating literally the top players on the ladder, because, again, the game is so slick and so well made that it facilitates you literally going to the leaderboards, clicking on the players, and provided they've set their settings to public and you can see what matches they're playing in, you can literally watch their replays in the client. That is incredible. That is so good. That means you can just sit down in your own time from your own perspective and watch the best players and learn from what they're doing. And that is invaluable to anybody wanting to get better at the game. I watched Object, one of the best Mantis players in the world. It's radically changed the way I've played Mantis. I play in a totally different way now, and I'm getting way better results simply because the game lets you do that. It's awesome. It's really good. So then, let's get down to it. How long do you think this will last? I think, looking at the stats, this game's got a very long lifespan. I also think, just because of what I've experienced playing the game so far, it feels really fun. It feels like that thing you want to sit down and play. It's got that thing of, hey, I want to learn a new hero. I want to learn a new play style. That is great. What it doesn't have at the moment is stuff like map variety, really, because it's like, oh, yeah, we're on this map again. Please, no. Kylenar. I hate Kylenar. I hate the first point of that. It's just horrible. It's horrible. Like, it's either a complete, you're just dead in the spawn, or you just get nowhere. It feels, dare I say it, like a Hanamura or a Volskaya Industries first point. But yeah, so it's not all like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I think it's just come out at a really good time. It's really refreshed the genre. It's actually, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about the impact this has had on Blizzard. I mean, I've touched on this in videos. Blizzard literally sitting there going, oh, what the hell, this is not what we expected. And for the first time ever, we've now got a competitor which is saying we have got the same sort of visual clarity to our hero designs, our art direction, and our presentation that you've got. And it's like, uh-oh, this is a bit of an alarm. But wait, the gameplay is actually really fun. Oh God, what's happening here? I don't know. I feel like, I mean, like I've said, I'm on record saying this on videos, and I do believe this. It is good that you've got direct competition in any industry because it pushes you to innovate. You can't just sit there and go, well, we're the top dog, we don't need to do anything. No, you're the top dog, but when you're at the top, it's about staying at the top. And, you know, games like Overwatch have had a bit of a troubled history with that. But again, it'll just be over to them. Let's see what they do. But for right now, Rivals, it's absolutely going nowhere, this game. I'm going to be very surprised if the game doesn't break its 480,000 all-time peak very soon. I mean, that's insane. Think when the next season launches, which is very soon, when we get new trailers as well, which is coming out very, very soon. If you're watching the video, it went out on, I think I put this video out on the 4th of January, I think it is the day, if I can remember. Maybe I should just look at my calendar. Then I think on the Monday next week, so on the 6th, there's going to be a trailer. And what will happen then? Will that hype the community even more? Because already we're getting new heroes in the game. Actually crazy. All right, guys, I'm going to leave this video at that. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I want to know what your experience has been with the game so far. Are you as addicted as I'm addicted? Because I feel like it's literally just filled a gap where I'd sit down at my computer and I'd play for a couple of hours. And yeah, I just haven't had a game which has delivered that for a while, especially one with a ranked system, one with a reason to grind away. And that's just fun. I mean, it is just literally fun. All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, then let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa, and if you do like the video, it really, really does help. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next video. See you soon.